Good evening, ghosts and ghouls. It's the one, the only, JT Ripper, and I'm here with the man that shot Michael Myers 7 times.
Todd of Thunder,
And
Loomis.
Todd of Loomis. And you're listening to a horrible podcast. And this week, we're going to be giving you our top 5 demon movies.
Yes, indeed, our top 5 favorite demon movies about demons. Now, it would be...
I got demons running all through me.
Woo! It would be a lot easier just to say supernatural, but supernatural covers so many broad categories like ghosts, demons, and we thought it'd be a whole lot better just to break them all down into single categories.
Yeah, like, you got ghost, possession, which we're kind of considering like demon possession, but you can also have ghost possession too.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to like break down individual ones. So we're doing demons right now.
Yeah, we're doing demons, and we got our top 5 for you. I always start, so you want to start this time?
No.
Okay.
I ain't breaking tradition. It's a family tradition.
Well, my number 5 comes from 2010, and it is Insidious.
Really?
Yep. Insidious, unlike a lot of modern horror films that are, when you see advertisements, they say it's an instant classic. They say, they build up the movie. Very rarely do they live up to the hype. But I think Insidious lived up to the hype. I had a real good time watching this movie. And I love the whole, the whole aspect of the kid, being unconscious, and in his, unconsciousness, he's being captured and held hostage, by this demon that's playing fucking Tiny Tim records.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking creepy. It almost like that one thing in the background with the red and black face paint kind of looks like Darth Maul a little bit, but
yeah,
fuck, those yellow eyes are haunting.
Yeah, and the way that he can like just be one place at one moment and then another at the next, just like that, is pretty creepy, man. And just, I like this whole movie, man. It was, a lot of people have problems with the PG-13 films, but I don't. If you put together a good story like this was, and you present it, I think it still can be scary without being gory or having too much cussing in it or whatever. And this is a perfect example. It came out at a time where, movies that came out during this time, we wasn't looked at as, 10 years from now, this is going to be a classic.
No, not really, but it's one of those things where your imagination can be the scariest thing.
Yeah.
And, it's like the concept of like when you cut the lights down, downstairs, and you haul ass upstairs real quick because you think something's there, but nothing's there.
Yeah, and unlike some things that as you get older, you kind of get over it, a movie like this can kind of, remind you that there are things that you were once afraid of that can still be scary to you as an adult. So yeah, that's what I took away from the movie. I love this movie.
Oh, I love that movie too. It's definitely in my top 10, but it's not my top 5. But to kick off my number 5 is Hellraiser.
Cool.
I don't really know what all to say about Hellraiser. I mean, you have demons from hell, you have a box, and if you haven't seen it, you should definitely see it. It's one of those great movies. It's very iconic. It's the opposite of what you just said. It's gory. It's very dark, sadistic. It's a different kind of demon movie. That's why it's in my top 5.
Yeah.
It takes your normal demon movies kind of go off of possession, and this is a man that died that's coming back from hell, and then you have these Cenobites, and you have to have your sacrifices, and demons from hell, and all they want is pain and suffering for everyone. But they're not your typical demons. They don't look like your horns or your winged fucking creatures from hell. It's a different take, and that's what I loved about Hellraiser. You know, the leather, the open wounds, the
they were very much about not only dishing out pain, but they love to take it.
And, you know, great one-liners, just a great plot. It's not like, you know, a thinker, but it's definitely cringy. Cringy. But yeah, that's my number 5. I'm not sure if it's in your
5. No, it's not in my 5, but you know.
Would you like to elaborate on Hellraiser since it's not in your 5? Or?
Well, I mean, I love Hellraiser. Hellraiser is a different type of movie. I mean, it's really a movie of two different storylines. You got the first storyline is about Frank, who obviously has dabbled in the puzzle box, and you know he's come back after, I guess, being in hell. He has no skin. He gets the woman that he's in love with to bring him bodies, and the more he kills, the more he seems, you know, to get the flesh. And then, you know, at the end of the movie, the Cenobites come to basically they're kind of like the hell police. They come to get him for his crimes. And you know, I've always enjoyed Hellraiser. I didn't think of it as a pure demon movie. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's kind of all over the place.
It is all over the place, but at the end of the day, they are like,
well, you know,
hell.
The famous line that Pinhead says is, you know, we're angels to some, demons to others. So
exactly,
you know, but at the same time, you know, it dabbles in torture. It dabbles in, you know, that kind of sex,
BDSM type.
Yeah, very reminiscent of the leather and the, you know, there's a whole genre out here where people love to be tied up and whipped and be put through
hell-bent for leather.
Yeah, be put through. You know, they say pleasure is pain, and some people take it literally, but that's a good choice.
All right, cool. What's your number 4, horror?
Well, I was really going back and forth between two movies at my number 4 spot.
Ooh, I wonder if it's the same as mine.
Well, the first movie that I thought of was Night of the Demons.
Okay.
And the more I thought about it, the more the other movie that I was thinking of, I like a little bit better. So I went with the other movie. So I just want to let you know it was going to be Night of the Demons, but I changed it, and number 4 is Pumpkinhead.
Good one. I like how you swerved it on me.
Yeah. Much like Hellraiser, some people might not think of Pumpkinhead as a demon movie, but it is.
It is, God damn it.
Yeah, it's the whole purpose of Pumpkinhead is, you know, he's conjured up from the depths of hell to seek vengeance on whoever conjures him up. And we did our countdown a little while ago of, you know, our overview of the Pumpkinhead series, so I won't go too far with it, but this choice between Night of the Demons and Pumpkinhead came down to, quite frankly, I just think Pumpkinhead looks cooler.
It's funny because I have Pumpkinhead at my number 4. You swerved me on it, but actually my number 4 is Pumpkinhead also. I fucking love Pumpkinhead. But to piggyback off of what you just said, the looks and the animatronics that they use with Pumpkinhead is so iconic that it has to be in my top 5. And the story of vengeance and heartbreak and tragedy is just beautiful. That's what I love about this movie.
Yeah, and, you know, we talk about the special effects, the practical effects of the 80s, and we talk about movies like The Thing and stuff. I don't think Pumpkinhead gets mentioned enough for how
It don't get enough respect.
about how iconic the actual Pumpkinhead suit was. I mean, it was a rubber suit, but they made it look so real, you know?
Yeah, it's one of those like iconic figures that really kind of is the redheaded stepchild. Like, it doesn't get the notice that it deserves.
And I think one of the reason that is because it probably came out in the late 80s. I think if it came out in maybe 83, 84, it would have gotten a much it would have stood out a little bit more. Like if it would have came right before Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
You know, because Freddy, even though I don't call Nightmare on Elm Street a demon movie, he is a dream demon.
True.
But he's more of a slasher, and that's kind of where I stick him in. Spoiler, that movie's not on my list, but
me neither.
If Pumpkinhead would have came out right before that, or maybe right after, where the dream demon was, I don't know. You can only look back and speculate, but I think it was probably because it came out in the late 80s, and people. I mean, by 89, when it came, it was either 88 or 89.
It was 88.
Yeah, 88. By 88, people had saw everything that the 80s could possibly offer us.
Yeah.
And nothing was kind of shocking or out of the question at that point because we had seen everything.
Yeah.
So I think that hurt it a lot. If it came out about 83, 84, I think it would have been. It's a cult classic now, but I think it would have been much more appreciated when it initially came out.
It definitely would have had to come out before The Thing.
You think so?
Yeah, because after The Thing, practical effects was that's the fucking holy grail of practical effects. So anything after that's kind of goes down. To me, everything's like once you've seen The Thing, it's hard to top what you just saw.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. The Thing came out in 1982, and it's still, in my opinion, the best practical effect movie, not just horror-wise, but greatest effect movie ever made.
Oh, absolutely.
So
hands down, best creature feature. Spoiler, it's in. I think I go back and forth between Aliens and The Thing, between your top sci-fi movie.
Yeah, I still lean a little bit more towards The Thing personally. Although Aliens, the second Aliens is it's right up there as far as being just so entertaining. But practical effects wise, I still give it to The Thing.
Yeah, you got to because of how many practical effects are in that movie. Anyway, we're not trying to talk about The Thing. We're trying to talk about Pumpkinhead and the greatness of that movie. Honestly, that movie, the story is so great because in the end, vengeance isn't everything. And that's what I love about that. Even though you get what you wanted, in the end, was it really what you wanted?
Yeah. Yeah. Good story to put out there. And, great film.
Yeah.
Next! My number 3 is from 1981, and it is The Evil Dead.
Okay.
Yeah. You talk about demons, you talk about possessions, anything. I don't know. How can you not talk about the Evil Dead series?
Well, I tell you what. You want to piggyback off of each other on this one?
Is your number 3 Evil Dead?
It's actually Evil Dead 2.
Well, I was going back and forth of putting the first one or the second one. The reason why I put the first one is because the second one, let's be realistic, it's just a remake of the first one.
It is.
It's not really. It's kind of a continuation. It's like a remake continuation.
Yeah, requel.
Yeah, with more a little bit more tongue in cheek thrown into it. But yeah, the first one is kind of like a straight up like just horrifying film. And again, you talk about practical effects. You talk about doing so much with so little, which is what Sam Raimi did.
Yeah.
And Bruce Campbell, getting his start in the movie world, and all the character. I mean, the dialogue in it was definitely improved upon in the second one, but I don't mind the dialogue in the first one because it, to me, it showcased how innocent and vulnerable they were.
Yeah,
like,
I get that.
Like you didn't expect such horrible shit to happen to these people the way it did, and mixing in the the Book of the Dead, conjuring up demons. The demons take over everything. They take over the house. They take over the woods. They take over people. They take over objects. They take over everything in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's a real showcase of, like, if you want to see a movie about demons, then they run amok in that movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, funny enough, like this spot was between 1 and 2 with me, but I slightly went more towards 2 because I just enjoy 2 more. I feel like the practical effects are better. I feel that the dialogue's better. You get more Bruce Campbell, obviously, in the second one. He's more of the main focus. A lot more practical effects. They look a little bit better. A lot better, honestly. You also get, your iconic chainsaw. It's a lot more funnier than the first one. It definitely went more comedic, which I enjoy personally. It's just one of those, like, it just kind of like took what the first one did and to me made it better.
I understand that because that's how I feel about Aliens in the first Alien. Some people say, oh, well, Alien is iconic. And I agree, but, Aliens just done everything that the first one did, but just multiplied it more to me. And so I get what you're saying about Evil Dead 2. But both films are great. And even if we talk about Army of Darkness, that goes in a total different direction, goes back in time with time travel, it still has to do with demons and still has to do with the Book of the Dead overall. So, and even the remake was pretty good.
Everybody hates it.
Well, some people hate it, I guess. I don't really know people's feelings unless we're specifically talking about it and I read it online or whatever. But I guess, I don't know. I don't really give a fuck what people think.
Me neither. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, and I think that the new one coming out later this year, it's the end of the year, so I'm actually talking about 2023. But when it comes out, I'll go see it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I'm not going to rule it out. I mean, the worst that could happen is it suck and everybody crap all over it.
That is the risk when you see any movie. I don't care if you're fucking going to see a Lord of the Rings, a fucking Star Wars, a horror movie, a fucking Titanic, goddamn
Avatar 40.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It could be good. It could suck. It's up to you. Don't get influenced by
other people's opinions.
You watch it and you form your own opinion. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And you don't have to pretend and go along with the mob.
Yeah, the mob does not rule.
Nope. Number two. Well, number 2 comes from 1985, and it's Demons.
Hey, what do you know? That's mine too.
Yeah. This has always been a absolute favorite film of mine.
Fuck yeah.
Killer soundtrack.
Absolutely.
I love the setting of it, the fact that these people are trapped in a movie theater while, these demons are running around, and it kind of has that George A. Romero effect of, if the zombie bites you, you turn into one. Well, it's kind of the same thing in this movie. If you get scratched or you get bit or whatever, you become a demon, so the threat is constant in the movie because every time, you kill one demon, 3 or 4 other ones popped up because they got, bit or scratched or whatever, and it's just constantly in danger. And this was directed by an Italian guy. It was Mario Brava's son who directed the movie. It was produced by legendary Dario Argento, so it has the Italian influence all over it, and I'm all about Italian horror films.
Yes.
I love me some Italian horror films, and I think that out of all the Italian productions, probably Demons transfers to America the best as far as being like if I didn't tell you that it's an Italian movie and you didn't know, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So while other films are clearly, you can tell, is dubbed over or whatever, this one is pretty straightforward that you can't really tell. But anyway, Demons is great. The second Demons is just as good as well. That takes place in an apartment building instead of a
movie
theater. But still in a small, complex area, which is always my favorite type of atmosphere. Like the more claustrophobic it is, the more I think builds up tense. Like if you don't have a whole lot of places you can go, it makes
your options are limited.
Yeah, you're limited, and the danger is right around the corner. And they went on and. It's like Demons 3, The Org, The Church, and all these other movies that are loosely based on it. But the first two definitely go together. But the first one is legendary in my opinion.
Absolutely. Just one of those fun 80s movies to watch. It came out definitely during the peak of, your great decade of horror movies. I think that Demons was the first ones to really use the concept of where you get bit by a demon, you become a demon.
Yeah,
I can't really remember any other movie that had that concept before.
Well, that's why I alluded to it being that George A. Romero approach.
Yeah,
because before George A. Romero refined the zombie movie, you had zombies, but they wasn't going around eating people. They wasn't going around turning other people into, zombies. So I think the same thing can be said for Demons. And to be honest with you, it really didn't start a trend where Demons became like that, where, you get bitten or scratched or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of. There are other movies out there where people are in a haunted house and they get touched by a demon and then all of a sudden they start acting crazy. Yeah. That could be loosely based on it, but this is full-blown demon.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, bite you, and then a few minutes later you're the same way.
Once again, I'll bring up practical effects. This movie and practical effects, just like a lot of Italian movies, spectacular, top-notch.
Yes, if you're into splatter and gore and stuff like that, then check out some Italian giallo movies, especially. They're basically murder mystery movies that are completely gruesome and horrifying and heavy on the gore, but not just heavy on the gore. The movies are actually legitimately beautifully made.
Yeah.
So. Anytime you gotta have an old school 80s Italian horror movie, or 70s for that matter, check it out. If you got some streaming services, look up some stuff, see if some movies are on there, and check them out. You might be confused with the plot, but you'll get your
a little bit.
Yeah, you'll get your fix on seeing gruesome deaths.
Real quick, do you think a Demons remake or re-imaging could work?
I think it depends on who gets their hands on it. I believe, obviously, I believe that if somebody gets their hands on it and they want to make it a serious movie, then the practical effects and even probably some of the special effects will go out the window, because it seems to be that, like, if we want to make a serious movie, we don't go over the top with the effects. That seems like what they do.
Yeah.
So if somebody got their hands on it and made it more of a tongue-in-cheek kind of cheesy movie, honestly, I think it would be better.
You think it would be more like better as a horror comedy?
Yes, I would. Not a horror comedy.
Not a horror comedy, but just horror with more comedy elements to it.
Like cheesy. Like, don't, like, if you give me a serious product, I think you're going to go overboard serious with it, and I'm not going to have fun with it. I think a movie like Demons, you got to have a sense of little cheese to it and not take yourself too serious if you really want to, like, showcase, like, what it's about.
So we're talking more like Nightmare on Elm Street Part, like, 3 versus Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, or, you know.
I'm trying to, like, judge, like, the concept. So we're not talking like Shaun of the Dead.
I'm not talking Invisible Man 2018, 2019. I'm talking about, like, Hollow Man 2001.
Okay. I could see that working. I just think I would love to see either, like, Demons, like, you know, when they do a flashback in the theater, because I just want to know, like, the creepiness, because, you know, you're watching a movie about people that are watching a movie,
right?
And then all this shit happens, like the paranoia that you could, like, use that and, like, fuck with people, to me is, like, spectacular.
Yeah.
It's like the same concept of, like, when you watch, like, a ghost movie and you go home, and then when you're in the house, it's fucking with you mentally, even though nothing is there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just thought that'd be kind of neat. Next!
Well, my number one is the Ultimate Possession movie.
Probably the same as mine. 1, 2, 3.
The Exorcist.
Nailed it! The Exorcist.
1973, The Exorcist. Ultimate Possession movie, Ultimate Demon movie. Honestly, you don't know if it's a demon or if it's the actual goddamn devil taking over this little girl, man. But Jesus Christ, no pun intended. But
Jesus wept.
Yeah, this, I would say that this is the most disturbing possession movie ever made, simply for the fact that it happens to one small, like, 10-year-old girl, you know, and
yes.
Again, we talk about practical effects and all. She looked horrifying. I mean,
yes, even to this day, that image holds up, like, with a cracked lips and, like it's just small, subtle things with the makeup that, like, you know what that feels like. Everybody knows what it's like to have chapped lips, but you look at
snot hanging from the nose, like, and not cleaning it off.
Yeah, exactly. And you just see that, and you, like, you can relate with it, and then, like, it just disturbs you even more.
Yeah, and I think Exorcist was one of those films that gave you just enough to where you really didn't want to see more than what they gave you, because it was truly terrifying.
Yes, absolutely. It's a wonderful day for exorcism.
Yeah, it's you know, as far as the story goes, it's a longer film, but every scene in that film, every frame in that film is furthering and furthering the story and building up, and the more it goes along, the more, you know, you just feel for this little girl. You feel for the mother who doesn't have a fucking clue of how to deal with this. You feel for, you know, the priest, Damien, who is, you know, he still wants to be a priest, but he's kind of lost his faith, so he has an inner struggle himself, but he's damn near committed to helping this girl by any way, shape, or form.
Right.
I mean, every character in this was written like beautiful. And again, you know, you can't have all the good horror movies always has a good score behind it as well. And the Tubular Bells,
Yeah.
is that what they call them?
Sure.
Tubular. You know what I'm saying. Anyway,
The intro to this movie is iconic. But this to me is like like when we talk about cinematography, this is perfect cinematography. Like with the look and the feel and the darkness, and it just feels fucking evil. Like you watch this the transformation of it going from, you know, this happy family to this fucking dark possession, and you can feel it as you're watching it. It just feels demonic.
yeah, the way it's shot, like you just said, beautifully, and it's one of the most well-written films because, you know, it came from a book.
Yeah.
It was a book, like many movies, it was a book before it was a film. Jaws was that way. Many movies was that way. The Shining. But the dialogue in this movie was delivered perfectly because of the fantastic, extraordinary writing in the film. I mean, it's not one of these films where you feel overwhelmed by, you can listen to some movies and the dialogue is just so sophisticated that you feel dumb because you don't know the meaning of some of this shit. Well, this felt easy for me to say, sophisticated, in a real world type of way. Like it these are the way people would talk to each other. You know what I mean? Like it felt epic and normal at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. They felt like regular humans talking to regular humans, which made you believe that what you were watching was real.
Right.
Like, it's not like these people using this extensive vocabulary that you would never fucking use in, you know, your average day. Like, hey, Joe, hey, Bill. You know, that's normal, you know, not this crazy over-the-top, you know, dialogue.
Right. And that helps the movie.
Yeah, it does.
That helps the movie because if you have over-the-top dialogue and unrelatable dialogue, then you're not going to have audience relate to the actual storyline. So, you know, if you have them pretty much evened out, I think the audience relates more to it.
Right. And the performance of Linda Blair in this movie.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Brilliant, because she had to line up what the voice actress did to make it believable.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't look like something from Godzilla.
Right. She did a beautiful job, and I don't know how old Linda Blair is. She's probably in her late 50s, maybe even early 60s, and even now, her performance as a 10, 11, 12-year-old girl is the best of her career.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, she's played in other horror movies like Hell Night, which I enjoy and stuff like that, but
oh, yeah, Hell Night was pretty
nothing will ever top The Exorcist, and, you know, it's a reason why it's in my top 10. Not only is it, you know, in my top 10 favorite of all time, but it's my number one favorite demon movie, period.
Absolutely. Now, I want to kind of do something a little different.
What?
With this one. I'm going to give one or two shout-outs or honorable mentions. And you just you piggyback off of it. Because
Okay.
I know you've seen these, and I think that they're worthy of honorable mentions.
All right.
Might do three.
Then number one.
Number one honorable mention, Exorcist 3.
Exorcist 3 is a great movie. It's a underrated movie.
Highly.
George C. Scott is fantastic in this movie.
Fantastic.
Brad Dourif is fantastic.
Which you know as the voice of Chucky.
And we got Father Damien back as well.
Yeah.
Because it was going back and forth between Brad Dourif and his character. You didn't really know. I guess the Brad Dourif character was possessed by the Damien character, which was possessed by the demon in the first movie.
Right.
Is that what you get?
Yeah, that's what I got every time, I watched it. I mean, sometimes it's interpreted, by different people, but I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah, and it may have the most pause moment.
Oh, absolutely.
In an Exorcist film, when the nurse is walking and you just see the fucking Grim Reaper, I guess
whatever
that's what
it is, the lady with the sheet over her head with the shears.
No, I'm talking about the hospital scene when she's walking across, and the white robe with the Grim Reaper blade thing is walking behind her.
It has shears.
No.
Yes.
Bullshit.
No bullshit. I shit you not. They're shears.
Are they?
They are.
Well, maybe I haven't paused that scene long enough.
Hang on.
I always thought it was a Grim Reaper type of deal.
Hang on. All right, we're back. And what do you think?
Yeah,
they're garden shears.
You got me. You got the thunder.
Yeah. Anyway, still doesn't take away from that being a fucking iconic scene.
Yeah, underrated is the perfect term for that movie. If you've never seen Exorcist 3, watch it. You ever get a chance to see Exorcist 2, don't.
Absolutely. Dog shit, dog shit, dog shit, dog shit, dog shit.
Yeah.
I would like to do one more honorable mention.
Thought you was going to do 3.
You want to do 3? Okay. The Right.
With Anthony Hopkins?
With Anthony fucking Hopkins.
Again, brilliant movie. Anthony Hopkins does what he does in every single movie, which is give a memorable and brilliant performance. And it's a movie that's not really talked about a whole lot.
Which is sad.
It's sad. And even me, myself, I have seen it 2 or 3 times, and I can't remember everything to it. But I know that when I did see it, I enjoyed it a whole lot. And I'm sure that if I, after we record this, if I go upstairs and watch the movie, I'll have a real good time with it. So
it's very loosely the same as Exorcist. As far as like internal battles and, then being possessed and, taking the possession away and pretty much proving that, devils and angels are real.
Right.
But it's very good. It's one of those like movies that came out of nowhere that really sticks with you. And I just love it. The dialogue's great. It really makes you stop and question, are demons and angels real? And that's what I really liked about it. To me, it was the closest thing to The Exorcist, I think, that we've come in a very long time. And that's why, to me, it's an honorable mention. It's in my top 10. It's just not in my top 5.
Gotcha.
But last but not least, I think it goes into that, like, debate, Sinister.
Sinister is a great film. It's a creepy film. It's an unnerving film. Basically, what you got is you got a series of murders that take place in this house, and you have this writer who moves him and his family in. His family has pretty much no clue what happened. He does because he's writing about it. And
he doesn't tell his family.
Yeah, he's
trying to get inspiration.
Yeah, from being in the house, and he finds out that it's not the house isn't haunted or anything like that. It's this fucking demon that has been doing this to families for decades and years.
Yeah.
And great movie, underrated movie. It came out during the time period of the same as Insidious and stuff like that. It's in that time frame.
Yeah. It gets looked over though.
Yeah, I always thought it was a great movie. Ethan Hawke does a great job. He's a great actor anyway, so he does a great job in it. Yeah, I have no problem with this. If I was doing a top 10, it would be in my top 10, definitely.
Yeah, I think I had it at number 10, actually. But those are just 3 movies that I thought really deserved some light that a lot of people don't talk about enough.
Right.
But they're definitely in my top 10. The Right was like at number 6 for me.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Exorcist 3 was like right in there. But yes, we want to say thank you for tuning in for our Demon Top 5.
Yep, I'm Todd of Thunder signing off. Toodaloo!
And I'm JT Ripper saying it's a lovely day for an exorcism.